A well-worn myth about investing goes like this: market returns are dramatically lower if you remove just the best 10 days of the market. In the last 40 years, for example, the best 10 days, out of more than 10,000, accounted for almost 2/3 of the stock market return for the entire period. In the last 20 years, the best 10 days accounted for 75%. You should always be invested because missing those days means that your returns will be much lower. Mathematically, the statement is correct. The value of the S&P 500 rose 284% in the last 20 years, not taking into account dividends, but without the best 10 days the number is just 76%. But it makes absolutely no sense that someone could possibly miss just the best 10 days. An equally flawed argument would be its mirror: someone who misses just the worst 10 days in the last 20 years would be hugely better off, 814% to 284%. Should you try? The answer, of course, is no. You will never miss just those bad days. This issue is brought up most often during times of high volatility. Such periods create much fear among investors, and some seriously contemplate selling out of everything to avoid further losses. Remarkably, the market tends to make its largest one-day jumps precisely when volatility is high and the market is in chaos. In fact, 9 out of the best 10 days since 2002 happened during the financial crisis of 2008-2009 or during the very first days of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. A slightly less unrealistic hypothesis would be that someone seeking to miss the worst 10 also misses the best 10 in the process. From a return point of view, missing both is practically the same as staying put, 319% to 284% in the last 20 years. The real problem is that it is impossible to time the market, and those who try generally end up well behind those who just remain invested. This is because selling out of fear tends to keep investors out of the market for far too long, and they end up giving up a lot of ground in the early days of a subsequent recovery.